Imagine running towards a 14-year-old boy from Brazil, held at knife point on an estate in London in broad daylight because he had a mobile phone. He's beaten while onlookers gather, and eventually the attack is over. Picture a person you've been working with for years. They're only 16, and you've been working with them to make sure they stay on the right path. They've just given their life to God and things are going really well. Then you get a phone call to say that they've been arrested. They're being held for robbing someone and resisting the police. You're told of their autistic brother crying, and his mum wants you to represent him because it's too much for her. Finally, think of a young girl kicked out of 4 schools, constantly arguing with her mum, witnessed a family member killing her brother, and is now in love with an older boy who's addicted to smoking cannabis and known by the police. All of these are some of the heartbreaking and challenging things I witness in my job. These are some of the young people's lives I get the opportunity to come alongside. I get the opportunity to partner with others who love them too and want to work for their good. It's both a privilege to work with these young people and a burden to watch things like these take place. My blessing is also my burden. See, in my job as a youth worker, I can feel so far from these young people's situations, an outsider to their worlds, the estates that they live on, the things they're involved in. They can relate to each other's hardships and lives, but I'm excluded from their realities, and they feel it too. How can I possibly relate to what they're going through? I can feel an outsider to some of my family or friends who just can't relate to their stories, and they judge the young people. And some wonder why I love doing this job in seemingly helpless situations with young people who in their eyes are a lost cause. It can be tough and excluding. But picture a young girl who hated the sound of anyone trying to tell her that God is real. That was me. A girl addicted to smoking weed. Again, me. A girl in an abusive relationship where her boyfriend would beat her up daily and people turned a blind eye. That was me. But then, Jesus. Jesus broke in and made a way. God spoke to me when I felt excluded from society. Someone told me about Jesus and another person invited me to church. And 7 years later, I'm included in a caring, hopeful and loving community, King's Church. 7 years later, Jesus has set me free. Jesus loved me and God told me he had a plan for me to give me hope and a future. Jesus helped me and came alongside me with empathy when I was at my lowest and gave me a wonderful, diverse place to belong in his family. This is the good news I now get to offer every angry or broken teenager I work with. Jesus was incarnate, and this is the model I get to use coming alongside young people, whether they're on estates, on the street, in church or youth club or school. Jesus was incarnate and showed compassion, and I too get to do this. Jesus has broken the barriers. There is someone who can help, and there is a place you are loved and belong, is the message I get to share with young people. Jesus was then and both continues now to be my helper, my guide, and the one that I belong to. I know no matter what that my identity is in him. Walking into King's 7 years ago through that door, I looked around and I saw the deaf and the less abled. I saw the elderly and the very young, and I saw the vibrant range of ethnicities. Yeah, this was a place that I belonged. I was and continue to be accepted, encouraged, and included because of Jesus. This is the help that I have and can share with those who now might feel excluded.